Hey guys, welcome to the Hey DJ show. I'm your host DJ Jimenez. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. I also want to remind you, you guys can catch this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Give it a listen to. Listen to me on the road while you cook, while you go to the gym. I can't imagine anybody listening to this podcast in the gym like this. I'm not gonna get you hyped, but if you want to, I'll do a special episode. I'll coach you. I'll say some inspirational things. But no, do download the podcast. Give me a 5 star. That would be awesome. Uh, so if you guys haven't noticed yet, we're tuning with a special guest. It's Rosie, Rosie Jimenez, my cat. Yes, I do have a cat. Oh my god, it makes sense. He has a cat. Unsubscribed. Yeah, that's Rosie. She's sleeping right now because she's tired of hearing my voice, and she's just like, "Oh my god, this guy." Anyway, that's my cat. I love her. Shut up. I love her more than you guys. Anyways, all right. So episode 2. Yeah. First, I want to say sorry. I am a compulsive liar. Who knew? I said I was gonna come out with an episode every week, and here I am. Like what? A month later? Damn. Yeah. No, I'm sorry about that. I just got caught up with dumb stuff. Like I honestly don't have a good excuse. I just in a way I didn't feel motivated, but it's whatever. I'm here now and hopefully keep the ball rolling. So I got 3 things I want to talk about. Number 1 being COVID. Number 2, the GameStop hedge fund story, and number 3, a little bit of my backstory slash goals. So number 1, COVID. What do I want to talk about? COVID. COVID's such a kind of hot topic. Is it still a hot topic? I mean, it probably is still. I don't know. This world's crazy. But what do I want to say about COVID? Well, first I want to say that drum roll, please. Well, that probably sounds bad. I had COVID. That sucked. So actually, it's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do the show. I mean, I was quarantined. I was losing my mind. I didn't really have anything to talk about, and I mean, I didn't really want to talk about COVID and have it just be that, but that's whatever. So yeah, I had COVID. I will say that I kind of lucked out. Uh, it didn't scare me. Now this is where uh it's gonna be so controversial. Share your own opinions. Who knew? Um, so I'm again. This is just my opinion. This isn't. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm just gonna say my shit. So I wasn't scared about COVID uh before because like I fall into the category that I'm gonna be fine. Chances are I'm gonna be fine. I'm 28 years old. I'm relatively young and I'm healthy. If I get COVID, it's just gonna be a bad flu. Yes, have young people gotten it and died? Yeah, sure, and that sucks. It's any life, young, old, is tragic, but you know stats don't lie. Older people and those with secondary health conditions, they're the ones that are a higher rate of COVID really hurting them, while young people not so much. So I it's just mitigating risk, and we do it every day. We did it before COVID. BC, get it? Before COVID, ha ha ha. Don't leave me. Anyways, bad joke, but it's not the Hey DJ show without cringy ass jokes. Anyway, so yeah, I had COVID. I'm still kind of feeling the effects now. Like I can't smell or taste, which fucking sucks. Eating has now been like boring. I'm not eating for pleasure. I There's no point in going out or ordering pizza because I won't be able to taste it. So that really sucks. Yeah, it's whatever. Some people got COVID and was able to get their taste back within like 2 weeks. Other reported like months. And for me, it's already been almost a month, and I'm just like, man, like still don't have it back. It truly sucks. Um, but I say I lucked out because, uh, like I woke up. with a fever the day of, when I was like, oh man, I think I have it. I woke up with a fever of 100. It sucked. Went back to sleep. 4 hours later, I woke up and I didn't have a fever anymore. So that was really good. Uh, and that was it. Like I had a fever for, like I said, 4 hours. My taste and smell is gone. That's it. But I didn't have a headache. My body wasn't sore. I didn't have shortness of breath. Like all these other reports that, some people had. I have a cousin who's younger than me. He got it before I did, and he had it way worse. His body was sore. He had fevers for a couple of days. So yeah, no, I understand that it affects everybody differently. I have another cousin in New York. She got it, same thing, and she got it during the early stages where we didn't know shit about it, and it was kind of scary. But she ended up being fine and all that stuff. But she reported, like, her body was sore and all that bad stuff. So I honestly got lucky. Besides that, I wasn't scared that, like, I was gonna die. And I've always had this attitude before COVID. The whole, oh man, what if you die? Then I die. Oh well, I don't have an opinion anymore. I am dead. So some people hate that I have that opinion. I don't care. It's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, but it's who I am. I'm not gonna change. So, I mean, I'll change when I have a kid. I don't have a kid. I have Rosie though. She's my daughter. Oh my god, he just referred to his cat as his daughter. Definitely unsubscribed. Unlike. But yeah, so like I wasn't too worried. Um, and I didn't want to really tell anybody. One, I'm a private person just in general. Even though I have this podcast, I'm just gonna let you into my world, my life. But I'm a private person in, like, I like sharing good news. I'm pretty public about that. When I get good news, I like to tell everybody. When I get somewhat bad news, they're just private. The world doesn't need to know. And so, uh, yeah, I got COVID, and I was like, to me, it's not a big deal. To me getting it, just me, it's not a big deal. Other people, like my parents got it. It's different. But me getting it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna really tell anybody, and like I'm just gonna let the people I need to tell, like my brother who I live with. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell, my mom and dad, just letting them know, and be like, I'm okay. I'm fine. If for some reason I get worse, I'll let you know, but no reason to freak out. And yeah, kind of. So a little bit about me, and it kind of relates with COVID and just in general, is that I have this half joke where I claim, like, I have no emotions, like, well, really no negative emotions, like I'm pretty in control. And like sometimes I'll poke fun when people freak out and I'm calm, and everybody's freaking out around me, and I'm just like, whatever. And but here's, like, kind of like my rule of thumb. If I tell you I have COVID or any other, like, disease, hopefully I don't get some terminally ill disease. But if I'm calm when I tell you, like, oh hey, I got COVID, you're like, oh, you're calm. All right, cool. Then it's not a big deal. There's nothing you can change. I don't have a time machine. All right, so you shouldn't freak out. If I'm not freaking out, you shouldn't freak out. That's it. That's really all I want to say. Uh, I do have to throw, like, one slight criticism, and, well, not really criticism, just like my 2 cents into this. To some of you people, I definitely have some friends like this. I'm not gonna say who they are. They're gonna know when I say this, and this is not to rip on it. It's just like, hey, kind of reflect a little bit. So everybody has their own opinion. Everybody thinks they're right. Everybody thinks they know better for somebody else. Like, oh, I know what's best for you, kind of attitude. You don't. Anyways, so, like, with COVID, I find there's like a split, even and I'm not even talking about like the pro mask versus the anti mask. I'm not even talking about that. That's too easy. I'm talking about people like basically in the pro mask. Now I'm not pro mask and I'm not anti mask. I'm just, if I gotta go into Walmart to pick up some food and I have to wear a mask for like just 5 minutes while I go get my food, I'm gonna suck up those 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's annoying, but it's not a big deal. Um, and some people are already split like that. It's like, oh man, you're going to Walmart even though you're wearing a mask. No, you should have your groceries delivered. And this is where my 2 cents in. Listen, if you want to have your groceries delivered, that's fine. Like, you're allowed to do that. It's not illegal. If you know if you're able to work from home and you're just working from home and you're not gonna spend time hanging out with people, I get that. You have every right to do that. I'm not here to judge you. You're able to do that. Just know that I'm also have the choice. I also have the choice if I want to do that or not. And don't judge me if I, still want to go out, because I didn't care. And some people are like, oh, you're reckless. Listen, I was reckless before COVID. Again, BC. I was reckless. I'm somewhat reckless in general. And basically, you know, it's that attitude of I'm gonna do me, you do you, right? You do you, boo, I'm gonna do me. All right. So I'm gonna leave you alone, you leave me alone. Whatever happened to that attitude? And it kind of correlates with COVID, and it's actually gonna correlate with all the things I kind of want to talk about. Is that it's you do you, I'm gonna do me. And with COVID, like I have this group chat where somebody would be like, oh yeah, I got COVID and stuff, and people be like, oh man, I'm so sorry to, yeah, quarantine and all that stuff. And then I'll have that one friend who'll be like, huh, like that's why I don't go out and hang out with people and get my groceries delivered. And the first thing I think of is like, okay, good for you. Do you want a cookie? You want a trophy? Like, what was the point of that? I feel like you're dick measuring at this point. It's not pretty big at that point. I'm not going to say that to him, but like, I'm going to say it right here. It's like, it's not a competition. You want to be safe, but don't judge the person that wants to, kind of be reckless, because, kind of smack them a little bit if they tested positive and they're still going out. That's different. But for me, I wasn't afraid of getting COVID. I still went out to eat, still went out to places, wore a mask if I had to. And the moment I tested positive and started feeling it, I was like, let me play safe. Let me just stay home. And that's exactly what I did. My brother could attest to this. I stayed home for fucking 2 weeks straight. It sucked. But I did it. Like I was responsible. Now I get there are some people that are being irresponsible, and yeah, for them, smack them a little bit. Don't smack them, but yeah, but like, don't judge somebody just because they got COVID. It's like, oh, that's why I quarantine myself and all that stuff. It's like, oh, okay. Do you want a cookie? Like, what do you want? Oatmeal, chocolate chip, sugar cookie? We got all kinds. You want a trophy? I'll go get you a fucking trophy, dickwad. Anyways, that out of the way. So moving on. Hedge fund, GameStop. Did you guys hear about this story? Now, if you haven't, I'm not really going to explain it too much. I'm the worst person to probably explain it. I'm going to try to simplify it just a little bit. But if you don't know, I do recommend, going on YouTube. There's thousands of people talking about it, a bunch of articles about it. Main thing to take away from this is it's fucking hilarious. It's funny because, like, it's kind of a David versus Goliath story. Not really. Like, people are just saying that, but it's just funny is what it is. Like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. But I have an unpopular opinion about this, but I'm gonna get to that. But the main thing is, like, if you don't know what's going on with the GameStop story, look up the term short selling. Look up that term. Main thing to take away, it's not illegal. It's just a technique. It's not illegal. It's just a technique. It's both high risk, high reward. um, in the whole stock market kind of deal. But the simplified version of this story is uh these hedge fund Wall Street, guys, like millionaires and those like basically Wall Street sharks kind of stereotype you've seen in Hollywood movies and whatnot, like Wolf of Wall Street and stuff like that. Basically, those type of guys, uh, they decided to short sell the GameStop stock. That's a hard word to say. GameStop stock. Say that 3 times fast. I'm not going to. I was so tempted to do it, but I'm not going to. Anyways, so they decided to short sell the GameStop stock, and the Reddit people, like the common folks, they caught wind on what they were doing, and they decided like, yo, let's buy, a bunch of GameStop stock. Jesus, GameStop stock. They decided to buy a whole lot of it. Now there's memes of like, hold the line and all that stuff. A stock that went from I think like $5-10 somewhere around that range to the highest I saw was like $320. It could have probably went even higher. That's just the last time I saw it at was $320. I checked on it like about a couple of days ago, and it was at 190. So I think it's going down, which it's bad for the common folks and good for the Wall Street people. But yeah, there's just talks of like, the common folks like, oh, hold the line, because basically the Wall Street, they borrowed a bunch of the stocks, and eventually, depending on, their contracts with the clients, they have to return that stock, and but they sold it for a profit, hoping that the price is going to go down because they thought it was going to go down, but now it's up. And yeah, I try to simplify it, but I just went on a too long rant. But basically, it's just the small guys. That's where I said the David versus Goliath. So it's the small guys fucking with the Wall Street people and all that stuff, and you have awesome funny memes coming out, like the hold the line memes, several of that. My favorite one is the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's just like, oh, did somebody beat you at your own game kind of thing. It's hilarious. But DJ, you said you had an unpopular opinion on this matter. What is it? Hold on. Yeah, so I have an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I don't care. That's my attitude. Um, my question, which it's I guess it's kind of the question of the day, except it's almost rhetorical because I know the fucking answer. What's with the hate with the hedge? Like, what's with the hate on hating on the Wall Street guys, the hedge fund people? What's with the hate? Like, and I say that kind of rhetorical because I know what it is. It's jealousy. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just common folks, you know, hating on rich people simply because they're rich. Tell me I'm wrong. Of course you're gonna tell me I'm wrong, but because you won't admit it, it's just pure jealousy. They're just mad because they're rich. They have sports cars. They have expensive suits. They have slick back hair. It's it's just pathetic. And again, the memes are funny, and uh you know disagree with me all you want, and that's what I said. It's the whole you do you, I'ma do me kind of thing. It's like, you want to hate on the hedge fund people, you go right ahead. It is a little bit annoying though, like, because some of my friends do have that attitude, and I can't help but be like, what did they do to you? Did they do something to you? Did they steal your money and used it? No. Did they hurt you? Did they hurt your friends and family? No. Then what's with the hate? Why do you care? Side note. So I'm a simple dude. I only care about 3 things in the world. These 3 things in this exact order. I care about my friends and family. I care about my money, and I care about my health. Just those 3 things in that order. Friends and family, money, my health. That's it. If a certain issue arises and it doesn't affect those three things, I can care less. I'll have an opinion like, oh man, that's great, or that sucks, but I'm not about to shed tears of joy or tears of hate because of it. And this hedge fund GameStop story is hilarious to me. It's I'm not rooting for the common folks, and I'm not rooting for the hedge fund. I just think it's a funny story because it doesn't often happen, and there's nothing to root for. You do you. Oh, the people who got in on the GameStop stock early, they're you hear stories of they made a lot of money. If you're trying to get into the game now, like don't get into the game now. Like it's worth like I don't know how much it's worth now, but last time I checked it was like 190. I think it's going down, so I don't think you're gonna don't take my advice. I'm just dumbass and his opinion. Anyways, but it's just the attitude. I just don't like the whole I hate certain types of people because basically they're better than me kind of thing, even though they haven't done anything to impact said individual. I don't hate the Wall Street people, and if somebody were to be like, DJ, you need to hate on the Wall Street people. Why? They haven't done anything to me. They haven't hurt any of my friends and family, or Rosie, she's family. They haven't stolen my money, and they're not affecting my health. I don't care. Simple as that. And I don't care about the common folks. Same thing. They're not affecting those three rules. I do not care. So this story is hilarious to me. But yeah, when my friends are just like, no, I hate them because all they do is sit around and trade stocks and screw with other people and all that stuff. Show me how they're screwing with you, and you might have something there. But other than that, you're just like, man, I hate these Wall Street people. I'm begged to ask the question, what did they do to you? Did they touch you? You know what? Let's do a little exercise. Show me on this Great Ape Vegeta where they touched you, because obviously they did something to you. All right, so did they nibble on your ear? Did they do bad stuff to you? Did they do inappropriate things to your mouth? Come on, this is a safe space. You can tell Uncle DJ. Come on, like I'm gonna point to a certain body part. You just give me a little light cough if they touched you there. No, they didn't do anything to your no square. They didn't do anything to your special bathing suit spot, did they? Come on, this is a safe space. We can talk about this. DJ, what are you doing? This is inappropriate. Look what you're telling your audience member. Oh man, you're right, other DJ. I'm so sorry. What am I doing? Here I am holding Great Ape Vegeta and and they're probably getting the impression that I think that they're all, ripped monkeys. No. Damn it. How dare I? I can do better. I'm sorry, guys. I can do better. You don't deserve that. You're not a ripped monkey. No. I'm so sorry. No. Let me fix this. I'm so sorry about this. This is probably more accurate. You're probably more like Manju Boo, right? It's like looking in the mirror, right? Look at that. It's uncanny. Now, did they do anything to your little cheeks? Did they little pinch it? Did they rub your little belly? Again, did they touch you in no places? Did they oh no, did they do something back there? No. DJ, what are you doing? You're gonna get canceled. Oh my god, he told the world he thinks they're fat. Oh no. Fat shaming, no. Canceled, unsubscribed. Oh, I can already feel it. 2 episodes in and I'm already gonna get canceled. This episode's gonna get pulled. No, what am I doing? Bad DJ, bad. How dare you? I'm sorry, I have no filter. I don't care. Anyways. Oh, that was so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry, but anyways, moving on. Rosie wasn't amused either. I probably practiced that joke several times. Oh man. Anyways, moving on. That's my whole little rant on the thing. I don't hate on hedge fund people. I don't hate on anybody who I'm not rich. I've never been rich. Maybe never will be rich. I don't hate on somebody simply because they're rich wherever they are in life. I do not care. Again, if it doesn't affect those three things, just don't care. You do you. I'ma do me. Moving on. So number 3, backstory. So I know I talked a little bit about it in episode 0. But I kind of want to go a little bit more in depth about this. I Before I even get started, let me say this. One, all joking aside, even with the bad jokes and the bad puns, I do appreciate you guys watching, and if you guys are subscribed and all that stuff, I really, really do appreciate it. That being said, what I'm about to say here, it is a little bit for you, like you might be able to relate and all that stuff. Maybe I'll say something that might help you, maybe not, and this is just for entertainment purposes, But at the same time, I'm mainly saying this to leave myself a digital footprint because, like I want to leave something that I can easily look back at and reflect on, and because I'm a happy individual. I'm an optimistic person naturally, but there are days like that. It might happen tomorrow, might happen a week, a month, a year, who knows. But there's gonna be a day where I'm gonna feel down. That's inevitable, and maybe I'm gonna be silent about it. Like I'm not gonna let anybody know, and I kind of want to leave myself again a digital footprint where I can look back at it and be like, no. I was happy then. I got to be that DJ again. If I was that way once, I could be that way again. So that's mainly what I'm about to do now. So a little bit about my backstory. First thing I want to say is, so I'm 28 years old and I just started school for the first time, like first semester, first year student, and in the hopes to become a dental hygienist. And I know that there are some people out there right now that was probably in the same boat as me. It's not hard to imagine. I had this thought when I was 24 years old. I remember it so vividly, and I cringe every single time I think about this. And like, it makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me happy because it just shows that I've grown. It just, I don't like to think of myself that I was ever really weak. But looking back at that, I was not only weak, I was stupid, because when I was 24 years old, I remember having this thought. I was hanging out with friends, just bitching about my life. Still being, I was at this like low class chain restaurant, and I was just bitching about my life, and my friends just like, you could always go back to school. And I said this, and I just, oh my God, every time I think about it, I just want to slap myself. I said, nah, it's too late for me to go to school. I'm 24 years old. It's too late. Why? And the sad thing is, it's such a common thing. I hear it all the time. And I'm not going to act all high and mighty that like, oh man, how could anybody say that? No, I'm mad that it's almost normal to say that, like you guys like, maybe you didn't say it yourself, but other people who've said things like that, like, oh, it's too late for me, kind of things. Like, no, it's not. Like, you're still young, and even if you're not young, it's not too late. It's never too late, and it's not too late unless, the only way I can picture is unless like, oh, it's too late for me to go to a 2-year school or 4-year school, unless a doctor literally told you like, yeah, you're gonna die in like 2 months. Then in that case, it's probably a little bit too late. But unless you're in that small category, it's not too late. I don't care what your age is. And I know there are people older than me that, have that feeling, especially, if they have kids and, they have responsibility. I get it that it might be harder for certain individuals, but it's not too late. That's the main takeaway. It's not too late. And oh man, but yeah, I used to have that mindset like, no, it's too late. I'm 24 years old. I'm 24 years old. I'm still young. I'm 28 now, but I was 24 at the time when I had that attitude. So, what changed? Why 4 years later, I'm in school. So what changed? So it's kind of a long story, but and quite honestly, kind of boring. But I'm just gonna give you basically the spark notes of it. So maybe one day I'll go into more details if you guys want me to. I'm not gonna do it if you don't want me to. But basically, so I need to highlight just these 3 years, and I think it's important. So in 2018, I lied. 4 years, real quick. 2017, and any all the years before that, I wanted to be an actor. I did. I was in part of the drama community in my high school. Everybody wants to be an actor in that class. Nothing wrong with that. So, went the traditional route, worked at a restaurant, knew that school wasn't going to be for me, like, after high school. And I was like, no, I just want to be an actor. I know it's going to be hard, but, I'm going to grind for it. No, excuse me. So, that was that. Like, I wanted to be an actor all throughout, and to 2017, I started, like, kind of giving up hope. Started, like, not knowing what to do next kind of thing. I still lived with my parents, and I didn't feel like I was ahead. I felt like everybody else at my age, at around in 2017, everybody was moving on in life, and it started making me kind of be insecure a little bit. So that was that. So now I shifted in 2018. I had this new mentality where I was like, I consider working at a restaurant my personal hell. You know, make jokes all you want. That's literally my mindset was, I don't want to be at a restaurant anymore, but I think this is all I have to offer. So I decided to go from a chain restaurant to, like, one of the best fine dining restaurants in Georgia and Atlanta, Bone Steakhouse. Shout out to all my friends who are still there. Shout out to you, Chef Leonard. So yeah, like I just I decided to, upgrade. I said this, what, if I'm going to be in hell, I might as well make some money. So I had that attitude. Kind of gave up on, being an actor and stuff like that, and decided, let me just go work at a fine dining restaurant. Let me make some money. Let me be able to afford to move out. And just, I was in survival mode. I was just like, let me just tackle the day as it comes, kind of thing. I didn't have any, future plans really. Sucked. So that was my mindset. Then in 2019, my brother and my sister-in-law, she got pregnant, and they were doing the gender reveal and the baby shower, and most of my friends worked 9 to 5s, and so they hosted the party on Saturday. And obviously, when you work at a restaurant, you basically forfeit your weekend. And so, I missed it, and it really hurt. And at the time, I didn't know, still wasn't thinking about school. But I knew that I didn't want to work at a restaurant anymore. I had to do something, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna miss more events like this. Most of my friends get together and hang out, play board games and stuff, but it's mainly on the weekends. I can never go. And yeah, the more I thought about it, the more it made me sad. And also, I went from having a huge social life to literally no social life. When I upgraded to fine dining, I went from working, like, 4 days a week to working 6 days a week. And sure, I was making money, but I couldn't hang out with people, and, like, I couldn't really pursue acting in my eyes anymore. So I was just like, kind of like, what's the point? So that basically that was my mindset. I'm not saying like, oh, I was right, or oh, DJ, why didn't you do this? We can play what ifs all we want. The point is that was my mindset. I don't have a time machine. If I have a time machine, maybe I'll do something different. Until then, until you have that, shut up. And if you do have that, email me. Let's talk. so yeah. Anyway, so I wasn't thinking about school, but I knew how to do something different. Then comes January 2020, and I'll always remember this. I mean, it was only a year ago, but I will always remember this day, just cause, oh man. So let me take the time. Let me paint the picture. Let me make it dramatic, even though it really wasn't dramatic. It was dramatic for me, but it's not so dramatic. Anyways, so at the restaurant, they do, like any other company, like semi-annual reviews and stuff like that. And mine came up of January 2020. Sat down with the GM. It was just him and me, and him and I, and we sat down and we were talking about like things that to improve on, things you have improved on. You know how reviews goes. And then one of the questions comes up, and the question is, what's your plan? What's your goal for 2020? So I was a server's assistant at the time. What's a server assistant? Just a glorified busboy. What does a busboy do? You're just a professional bitch to a server. That's all it is. Servers at Bones are still professional bitches. They just make more money. And because of that fact, they like to swing their little ego dicks around. Little tiny little ego dicks. That's right. Shots fire. What's up? Do something about it. Anyways, so yeah, I was a server's assistant, and I wanted to be a server. I had, again, before COVID, I had my mindset like, oh, probably around the springtime, like March, April, I think I'm ready. I've been there for 2 years now. I think I'm ready to get promoted. So GM says, what's your goal for 2020? And I said, well, sir, I think around March, I want to take a shot and try to be a server. And he says, you're not going to be a server in 2020. Shakes his head, looks away, he's like, you're not going to be a server in 2020. And, oh, man, like, I wish I had a pencil. I'm not going to break my pen. But inside, like, I've snapped before, like, both internally and externally. But something really snapped inside me. Now, I didn't express this outside. When he told me that, when he said, you're not going to be a server in 2020, outside, I was like, literally like this. And I was just like, yes, sir. Stoic, nonchalant, whatever. Inside, however, Musaframa, I'm about to drop a volley of F-bombs. So, you've been warned. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Inside, I was like, you're not going to be a server in 2020. Inside, I was like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this building, fuck this place, fuck this plate, fuck this silverware, fuck your bread, fuck your steak, man, fuck your suit. Oh, I was just so fucking angry. I was just like, and just this rage, just freaking Super Saiyan kind of rage inside me. Oh my God, sorry, Rosie. You knew what you signed up for. I was just so fucking angry. And I literally in 5 seconds inside, kind of like the movie Inception, where like the outside world, 5 seconds in the dream world is like 5 hours. I went through it all. I saw every possibility. Inside, I was angry. I was depressed. I was confused. I was scared. I was all these negative things inside me. And then finally, in that last second, whew, I was free. I was happy. And it was such a weird feeling. And I could still remember, I'm still feeling it a little bit today, like reminiscing. I was just free. And even though I was happy because I was free, like I knew this one without a doubt in my mind, I was still a little bit scared because I'm a person that likes to think 3 steps ahead. I'm not an overthinker. I just think really fast. I think of like, oh, if A happens, then I'm going to do B. If C happens, I'm going to do D. I just think ahead. In that moment, when I snapped and I was finally free, I was happy, but I was still scared because I was like, shit, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm happy because my GM finally cut the ties that I had, towards the restaurant. And because truth be told, I didn't want to be a server. How many of us have worked at jobs that, we're trying to get promoted, we're, jumping through fire, trying to get promoted, stressing ourselves out, but we don't even really want to be there. We just want to get promoted because we might as well, because we're here, we're making good money, and we're just like, this is it kind of attitude. That was me. And that was a year ago. That wasn't too long ago. That was a year ago. And yeah, I was happy, but I was scared because I didn't know what to do. Now after our review, it's like, all right, sign the paper, walk out. I go up to Chef, and again, shout out to you, Chef Leonard. Chef Leonard, he was like my second dad. This dude is, fucking awesome. And like we had this joke, like he would always haze you and all that stuff. But every time he hazed me, like it was, out of love and all that stuff. We had this joke saying that if he didn't haze you, if he didn't mess with you, then you were nothing to him. Like he couldn't care less if you left and stuff like that. So, this guy would always mess with me, and I would always know it's out of love. And then, but in moments in seriousness, I can go up to him and talk to him and be like, hey, in all seriousness, I need to talk to you. And he'd be like, he put on a serious face. What's wrong? What's happening? Like he really does care about you. So he was like my second dad. And so I go up to him, had my head down, and he was like, what's wrong? And I was just like, Chef, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not about to quit right now. I'll put in my 2 weeks honorably, but I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's eating at me. I can't do this anymore. But I don't know what to do. And he was like, what do you want to do though? And it just like popped into my head out of nowhere. I was just like, I think I want to go to school. And immediately he goes like, computers. I was like, what? He was like, computers. It's a good job. Computers not going away. It's just getting more advanced. There's good money in it. Computers. And he was right. There's nothing wrong with computers. But I knew it didn't click for me just yet. And I was like, oh, I'll think about it. So I went home to my then roommate at the time, Steven, and I told him the same thing I told Chef. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, we went on Google. We try to, take my personality and see like what I would fit in and stuff like that. Went through a whole list of things, and then dental hygienist came up. Read the whole overview, the pros and cons, and I was just like, it resonated with me. There's something that clicked with that. I was like, I like that. But I still had to run it with Chef. I kind of needed his approval. So I went up to him and I was like, hey, Chef, what do you think about dental hygienist? And he was like, teeth ain't going away, son. That's also good. Like, you're good with people. You could be good on one-on-one. Definitely. Like, teeth ain't going away. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for this. So that was my mindset. to, finally go back to school. My brother, he's a math teacher. He was like, all right, man, well, you're going to have to retake the SATs. I'll help you. And so together, him and I, we studied, all summer long, and, kind of brought up my speed. And then, yeah, I applied to school in September. And then at the end of October, finally got that acceptance letter. And I was just like, oh, yes, the happiest I could be. So yeah, and then this podcast real quick. So this started kind of as a fluke. So in November, it was like shortly after Thanksgiving, I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and we were just laughing, reminiscing, having a good time. One of them was like, oh man, this is the kind of stuff that, you would hear on a podcast or see on a podcast. And then I said something along the lines of like, oh man, I've always wanted to, start a podcast. And then a friend of mine, his friend, who, now that I'm thinking about it, fuck, I should have tried to reach out to him to find out his name so I could give him a proper shout out. But in any case, this is a shout out to you, dude. You know who you are. And when I find out your name, I'll give you a proper shout out in a future episode. Anyways, now I feel bad. So he said, do it, just start. And I was like, all those excuses. I don't have the equipment, or I don't really have the time, or what could I? And he was like, shut up, just start. And again, I was still coming up with excuses, and he was just not having. He was not taking no for an answer. He was like, just start. And then he was going through it logistically, like how I could do it. And he was right. He was absolutely, my biggest enemy was literally me. I was the one putting myself down. And, when I announced, all right, cool, I think I could do this, reached out on Facebook to some friends, and they were willing to help me out. Everybody was being super supportive. I am lucky. I do have awesome friends and family. On a random note, that whole kind of memes of oh, I'm surrounded by fake friends. No, I honestly have some of the best fucking friends and family in the world. I've never once felt lonely. Always felt loved. So shout out to all you people. I just got sappy for a little bit, but anyways, it's real. So yeah, that was that. And I decided, all right, I'm gonna do this, and long and behold, here I am. Now, it may not be the greatest podcast in the world, and things can always get improved on, but that's one thing he was telling me. He was like, man, fuck all these, the professional YouTubers, fuck Joe Rogan and stuff. They got there over time. We always focus on where they are now. We never focus on their beginnings. Just start. You're going to improve. And I can go on, and as cliche as it may be, he was absolutely right. And that's the thing I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. And it kind of correlates with, the whole COVID and the GameStop. Is you do you, I'm gonna do me kind of attitude. You really do need to have that kind of confidence. All right, you know what? Fuck all those other people. Fuck, these successful people. That's great. They're doing what they did. They invested in, and it worked out. That's great. I'm gonna do me though. I'm not gonna hate on their success. I'm gonna do me. And honestly, it's cliche as hell, but it's cliche for a reason. Because it's true. There's some truth to it. And so I kind of want to spend the last part of the show being, a little, hopefully inspirational, a little bit motivating you guys. But so here we go. Just start. Just do it. Like Nike, just fucking do it. I hope Nike doesn't sue me for that. Just start. Just start. Just do it. The thing is, because I'm still figuring it out. I'm in school. I'm doing this podcast. This is the second episode. This isn't by far the greatest yet. But as I'm doing it, I can see the things to improve on. But I would never know what to improve on unless I started. You know, now going back to school, I may be disciplined and I may have the confidence to, you know, and the will to, go to class and all that stuff. But I'm improving. Like, oh, I need to get better at studying. I need to get better at this subject. I need to do this. But the only way I knew that is by starting. And so one thing I kind of want to say is that, you know, I know some of us are lost. I know some of us are looking for a sign, you know, or for somebody to say like the magic words for us to like turn on the switch and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go get it. I needed that. Maybe this is it, maybe not. But I'm here to tell you, if you're looking for that sign, stop. It probably doesn't exist. You are your own sign. You need to choose to want that. And that's something you probably don't know. That's something that, the world doesn't tell you enough, is that you need to make the choice. You're powerful enough, you're smart enough to make that choice. It's not and the funny thing is, it's not complicated. It really isn't. And I can see that, again, going back to when I was naive, 24, thinking that it was too late for me to go back to school, to versus now 20, 28. We all think, especially when we're young, and especially even, when we get older, no matter what, we always think we know how the world operates. We think we know enough. We think, oh, I know everything kind of attitude, especially when you're a parent and have kids. It's like, oh, I know everything. No, you don't. And you're never going to know everything. But there's nothing wrong with, pursuing more knowledge, and to say sometimes, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. And man, damn, I was wrong when I was 24 to have that mindset thinking that, oh, it's too late. Things I could have accomplished now. But when I was 24, I still made a choice. I had two simple choices: go to school or just keep bitching about life and keep doing what I was doing. I chose the latter. I chose that. And we make choices every single fucking day. We make these choices. And you always hear, oh, well, DJ, it's easier said than done. No. It's easier said and done. And done. I'm serious. It's easy to give up. That's easy. You know what else is easy? Choosing to go to school. Choosing to go to work. That's easy. Why do you go to school? So I can get a better education. Why do you go to work? Because, I want to get paid. We make these choices, and we have reasons why we make these choices. They're not hard at all. The choices is not hard. To make these choices are. Now, it's not to say the obstacles aren't going to be hard. Of course they're going to be hard. And good that they're going to be hard. Things that are hard are worth having. Things that are easy are not worth having. I don't think there's... name me something that's easy and it's worth having. No. If it's hard, it's worth having. It's worth pursuing. Screw what your neighbor is going through. It's like, oh man, we're going through the same thing, except, they're having an easier time. Screw that. Let them do them. You do you. Stop focusing on somebody else's path. That's their path. Oh well. Focus on your path. And you know what? Be grateful that it's even harder. That if you know for a fact that you have it harder than the person next to you, start saying good. I'm a competitive soul. But I like competing with other people, in friendly competitions. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones I'm really competing with. I'm competing with myself. DJ yesterday was worse than the DJ today. And the DJ tomorrow is going to be better than this DJ. I'm constantly trying to better myself. And you should too. But you got to choose that. And the only way to choose that is to, realize your options. And it's only two options: give up and just bitch about it and continuing on what you're doing, or do something about it. You can still bitch about it while you're going through it, as long as you're not giving up. But you got to do you. Stop focusing on other people. Do you. It's easier said and done. I'll die on that hill. Like if somebody's, scoffing at me and saying like, oh, such a naive thought, you know what? Good. I want that naive thought. Oh, DJ, it's going to be hard. Good. I want it to be hard. I want it to be hard because it's going to feel that much more rewarding when I finally achieve it. Good. And you should too. Just focus on you. Don't worry about your neighbor. Focus on you. Because it's going to make you that much tougher. And especially when you're going to have kids. Because when you have kids, I don't have kids. Rosie is the closest thing I have to a kid, but I don't have kids. But when I do, and, my future wife and stuff, hopefully she's going to have that same thing. Like, she's going to go through struggle, learn from them, and be a tougher person because of that. And together, her and I, when our kids struggle, we're going to be able to comfort them, to let them know, like, hey, listen, what you're going through right now, it sucks. It truly sucks. But I know it's going to get better. Why? Because I went through it. And you know what? Maybe at the time, we wish somebody would have helped us a certain way. And it sucks that, no one helped us. But now we have that knowledge. Now when we have kids, it's like, I'm not going to let that happen to my kid. I'm going to help them. I'm going to give them the resources I didn't have at that time. I'm going to help them out. And that's the whole point. But you don't get that resolve unless you go through that struggle. Unless you start looking at your struggle and saying, good. I suffered through that time, and I came out as a stronger person. The trick is you just can't let it beat you. Like I said, I'm leaving this as a digital footprint because I know one day I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that pick me up. And I'm going to look back and see myself having this attitude. And I'm going to be like, man, I was like that. Why can't I be like that? You know what? No, screw it. I'm going to choose to be like that because I always have the choice. You always have a choice. Either give up and dwell in your sorrows or do something about it. Choosing that is not hard. Going through it now, accepting the responsibility and the pathway and the things you're going to go through, that's going to be tough. And like I said, you just have to have that attitude. Good, because I'm going to come out of this stronger. So I'll leave it at that. You guys are way stronger than you realize. You always have a choice. You're always in control. It is easy to make the choice. It is. Don't kid yourself. You even if you disagree with me, what is it benefiting you to disagree with me? To say like, oh, well, DJ, you're just being naive. I know the truth. You know the truth, so you're always going to, give up. Please don't have kids then. Oh, listen, little junior. Don't listen to what DJ has to say. It's hard. It's hard to even choose. And just, it's easier to give up. And it's better to give up. Like, no, what? I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it's whatever. But you know what? What I say isn't even right. And it's not even original. It's just cliche. It's, but they're real. But even if you hear what I have to say, it's not perfect. But maybe it's just enough to have somebody listen to it and say, you know what? You have a point, but I'm going to make it better. That's fine. Like, what I'm saying isn't like, can't be improved on. So, maybe I won't change the world. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not even trying to change one mind, but maybe what I have to say is like a stepping stone for somebody to be like, I see what you're trying to do. I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to make it better. And then whatever they get out of it, and if they're able to spread their word and way better than I could, then good. Like, I don't need that whole, oh yeah, I started that. I don't need that ego trip. I'm fine. But I do want to hopefully improve, you know, I want to improve myself first and foremost. And if I can help somebody else and you know, not know it and you know, not revel in the glory, that's fine too. But like I was saying, is I'm gonna do me, you do you. I'm not worrying about my neighbor. I'm worrying about myself. I mean, I'm in class with several other students. If, you know, if they want to get together and study, we'll study together. We're a team. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do me. I don't care about their opinion. I don't care that, you know, their struggles. I don't care if they have it easier than me. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna focus on it. I hope it's hard for me. Oh, I before I go, I know I'm making this longer than what it has to be, but I'm gonna say this. I'm not looking for any, like, you know, comfort or sympathy, but kind of going with the whole start looking at struggle and saying good. I also want to say that right now, I am scared. I am terrified that I'm gonna fail. Like, that doesn't really leave my thought. Now, I say that not for, you know, my awesome friends and families to be like, oh no, DJ, hang in there. I'm with you if you're scared. Like, let me know and I can help you in some kind of, no. If anything, I don't want anybody to say that. This isn't a cry for help. I have this fear, and in a way I smile to it because it's enough to make me look at, all right, this is the worst case scenario. I can't let this scenario become reality. I just can't. So I'm doing whatever I can to prevent that. But I am scared. I'm scared that this can become reality. So I'm doing everything to, you know, to prevent it. Just enough fear is good. Too much fear and it can paralyze you and it can make that bad scenario into reality. So right now, this is my final thing. If you are scared, say good to that too. If it doesn't paralyze you. If you're scared and you know you need an ally, reach out to an ally. Summon whatever energy, any courage you have and reach out for an ally. But if you have just enough fear, have that be your motivator. Have that be the fire that lights under you to get you moving. You know? Fear isn't a bad thing. Fear can be a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword. For 100%, it's a double-edged sword. But I am scared. I'm not going to act like I may be confident and optimistic, but I am scared. For sure. But I'm kind of glad that I'm scared because it lets me know that I'm in reality, that bad scenario can happen if I don't do something about it. And though I have loving friends and family, and I know they're going to shower me with support, all that, no disrespect to them, all that doesn't matter if I don't follow through. Because what can happen, and this honestly does scare me, is that say one day I badly snap and I quit on becoming a dental hygienist. I quit on this podcast. I just start quitting consistently because I let fear take over, because I let doubt take over. Then anytime I try to have a good news, like, oh, I'm going to become this, no one's going to believe me. It's going to be boy cries wolf. You said that about dental hygienists. Oh, you said you were going to be consistent with your podcast. Oh, like, what's to say this one's going to be real? What's to say that this one's going to stick? You know, that I'm afraid of that. But in a good way. It's what motivates me to better myself, to study, to try to be consistent with this podcast. And that's it. If you guys are scared, let that be your fire. Let that be your sign. Instead of looking at that fear as a bad thing, start looking at that fear as a good thing. Be like, you know what? Good. I needed that. You got to choose it, though. Stop looking for a sign. Maybe that's your sign. you're way stronger than you realize. I know that because I finally realized that for myself. All right. Long rant over. Long episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully I will see you guys next week. Take care.